Now, of course, it is going to be Jim. I'm going to try and avoid making the puns, but it's so tempting.
Yeah, Jim. I mean, Protoss a really strong player. Although maybe, well, I'm really hoping to see some kind of cheesy play out of him. I want to see
Well,
some proxy Stargates maybe.
we'll
even.
talk about Frost. Yeah, we'll talk about that being on Frost here in a second. Guys, welcome back to the Acer Team Story Cup. This is Game 4, currently 2-1 in the favor of Empire-Ence. And he is your champion in the lower right corner of the map, spawning red, playing Terran. It is Empire's BratOK.
Woo! The scary turn. But in the top left corner, as the blue Protoss.
Uh-oh. No!
Oh!
Starting off this game strong, a tactical lag spike.
Gonna throw BratOK off guard a little bit.
Well, the thing I was going to talk about, you're discussing proxies, the fact that Frost, I believe, is not cross only. I believe it's anywhere spawn. I could be mistaken on this. It's still a new map. But from my understanding, or at least what I've been told, because I haven't played too many games on this map, is that this is an anywhere spawn like Whirlwind. So it's a little bit difficult to do proxies. But if I'm
Yeah,
wrong
you have
about
to-
the spawn locations, then
Yeah.
okay, I'll eat my hat.
I don't know. I
Okay,
don't know.
okay, hang on. Tactical pause aside. Would you like to continue, sir, with the introductions?
Of course! In the top left corner, we saw that little bit of a tactical surprise out of him as the blue Protoss playing for Invictus Gaming. It is Jim.
Now, popularized by his puns. I don't know who's got more. It's either Hyun or Jim. I'd actually love someone to like compile a list of all the terrible puns made about either player and see who's got more. I think it's Hyun though. I gotta be honest.
I honestly don't know.
But man, okay, TVP. This matchup's really interesting. Now, there's several different ways to approach it. One of my favorites is when the Protoss player actually opens early Templar instead of Colossus. Because a Terran player never rushes to Ghosts unless they know their opponent's specifically doing that. You were talking about potentially throwing down proxies, which I would also get behind entirely. But when it comes to just straight up macro, I love watching Storms crush Bio, man. I'm Terran at heart, and I love watching that happen.
It's Storm is just awesome. I mean, Storm in total, if there would be Caldarian Amulet from the initial builds of StarCraft 2, that would be even more sick, having that Storm available as soon as the Temper warps in. But still, I mean, so strong against anything you want to be.
Man, and I just want to give a bit of a nod while we got scouting going on. I guess Zyver, 1988's painting his kitchen while watching StarCraft. Dude, you are the man. What color are you painting your kitchen? Let us know in chat.
I'm guessing, well, I would say light green or either something in the likes of a very
Joke's on you, it's
moody
polka
color.
dot. Like, yeah, something ridiculous.
I don't know.
He's probably got like a white floor and he's painting the black squares on it to make it look like it's checkered. But okay, Probe getting up here to the main. Scouts the double racks coming out of BratOK. This is a pretty common opening. I mean, because you go for the early CC, you're going to have no units on the field, and something like Chronodot Zealots and the Mothership Core can crush you if you only have one rack. So by having two racks out, you have enough Marines to deal with any sort of initial push coming from your opponent, whether you have a bunker up or not. Now, Jim is going to maybe poke the SCV. No, we'll just go away for now.
Yeah, and Jim behind this will go for Gateway Expo, so no shenanigans out of him. And it's gonna be a normal game for the time being. No special stuff.
Well, my big question is, like, I should have been watching the gas counts of Jim, sir. I was a little obsessed with the painting going on with one of our Base Trade TV regulars. But my big curiosity strikes, what's Jim going to go for? And there we go with the Twilight Council. We'll choose that tech path over top of like an early Stargate or Robo. Now, this is certainly not going to be for Dark Templar this early. The big question is what tech is going to follow suit with this. This could be for upgrades, but most likely I got to say Blink. And I only say Blink because Blink is like a universally good thing to have against any build order.
Yeah, ooh, and BratOK will scout the Twilight Council on the way, so he's gonna have some... This is... I don't know.
Oh, cancels it. Goes for a Stargate instead. I like this out of Jim. I like this a lot out of Jim.
I as well. I mean, when you are aware that your opponent knows at least the halfway of your tech, you're just kind of, well, I shouldn't really go for this, should I? And following this up with Stargate, I like it a lot, and I'm hoping to see Void Race.
Man, I know we're on a delay, but take a look at chat when you get a sec. We started something bad when we started talking about the puns. We don't need to make them because the chat will for us.
Impossible.
You guys are awesome. Big shout outs to you guys. But yeah, so the Stargate and the Robo, this is kind of interesting. Now, typically when you go for a Stargate early, you're going to be getting either Phoenixes or an Oracle. The Oracle, of course, while it doesn't, Oracle is going to come up first. The Oracle, while it doesn't have the potential to really end the game, it does a lot of worker damage. It can really catch your opponent off guard. But even if he's well defended, you can always envision, or sorry, is it Revelation, I think it is, right? Envision's detection, Revelation's the other one.
Yeah. Envision gives perfect. I mean, gives those white stuff above your units, enemy units.
Envision is so good for against Terran. If you envision the medevacs, you're gonna know exactly where they're going, and it lasts like a minute or something. It's so long, and it's really underutilized, but it's really effective versus Terran because the biggest thing about dropships is they catch you off guard. If you see them coming across the map, it's a non-issue. Now, I did scan to see that Twilight was canceled. We in fact have a Stargate and a Robo down, but I don't think he caught the Oracle.
Oh. I actually don't think he did.
Revelation.
But behind this.
Okay, hang on. You had me confused. Envision's the detection. Revelation's the one that reveals. That's what I thought it was. And then you
I mean, it would make sense to be Revelation, wouldn't it?
Scumbag over. Come on, man. I know what I'm talking about. anyways, coming on down here. Missile turrets are down, so he's not going to be able to do too much damage with this. But again, the Revelation, such a critical tool when it comes to dealing with Terran bio.
Yeah, of course, for Protoss especially, because you need good positioning. Although you have the availability of force fields, of course, having vision of that bio army, even just moving out, will give you the heads up to prepare a defense.
Ooh.
So,
lots of rain's going to drive this off. It might get sniped off here. There's not a lot of airspace on Frost, for those who don't know. There's almost nowhere to hide.
And the Oracle will die off.
Oh, that's such a shame. But we got Phoenixes coming up behind this. Now, I sort of started talking about Phoenixes earlier. We got really obsessed and confused about the Oracle. But the thing about Phoenixes that is so great is, A, they will buffer for the Colossus, so the Vikings cannot just move into the Colossus and kill them for free. They do have to deal with the Phoenixes initially. Also, Phoenixes work very similar to Mutalisks, where they're quick. They can pick off medevacs. It's actually great having about 5 Phoenixes with your army at any given time, because let's not forget, on top of all of that, they can lift up 5 units and take them out of the fight.
Yeah, maybe they can lift those 5 Marauders that are in the army and maybe even save your Colossus with that. So Phoenix is definitely a universal unit that can be used all around, and if nothing else, it can be used for scouting, and even maybe killing an SCV or two here and there. Behind this, BratOK gonna add the second starport with reactors, so gonna start his Viking production to the maximum here. And I do like this decision, so gonna have a great anti-air, although he shouldn't really exceed with that. I mean, once you have like 5-6 Vikings out, I believe it's more than enough to deal with the Colossus.
Yeah, but he may
unless
not
there's
be
like 10
anticipating.
Colossus.
He may not be anticipating the Phoenixes, which is a really key point in this, because there's not a lot of Protoss players who will make the move to Phoenixes because it sacrifices so much of the ground army. And as we see here, if these Colossus die, Jim actually has almost nothing to deal with the bio on the ground.
Yeah, he does warp some additional zealots, but I am actually getting worried for Jim a little bit. He needs a lot more firepower than just the Colossus.
He's got an observer down, so he knows this is coming. This is not going to catch him completely off guard.
Yeah, BratOK though will try to stop that third.
Actually, with no thermal lance, this is really key. With no thermal lance, the Marauders can get right on top of the Colossus. He does have to be careful about that. But BratOK,
and
he's going to back off.
Yeah,
I guess
besides
just
it's not
the Colossus. Yeah, it was scary enough.
Jim now with the third base up here, he's gonna be in a pretty good spot. But Terran is on the move here. Oh, even pulling SCVs here. BratOK gonna go kinda sorta miniature all in here.
Well, this is actually kinda nice because all he's gotta do is shut down the third base to still be in this game. The SCVs being pulled, they're only going to soak about the first 2 or 3 volleys of the Colossus, but sometimes that's all you need. But again, Jim has not revealed his Phoenixes at any point in this game. They've been hiding off to the side. They've not been scanned. So these Vikings, they might think they're going to get some free kills, but that's certainly not going to be the case. And Jim's got to fight near a photon overcharge. If he fights away from a Nexus, I fear he's going to lose his army.
And Jim had perfect vision with that observer as well, seeing exactly the composition of BratOK, seeing those SCVs, so he's aware of it. And here comes the preemptive.
Yeah.
Nice, and he's even hallucinating the Colossus now, but he has to position that hallucination to the top.
Oh
to
god,
the...
he's actually the
Oh
factory
my
soaking a lot of
God.
these hits.
Oh, great force fields by Jim
Oh
here,
my
catching
God.
a lot of Marines off, and the SCVs have been cut off behind.
BratOK
And
just
Jim-
lost all of his Marines and they're filtering in still.
Oh no!
The
And,
Colossus are
BratOK-
still standing. The Vikings are getting cleaned up by these Phoenixes. One of the hallucinations was targeted down over the real Colossus, and now Jim is on the counterattack. BratOK, who looks so strong there, caught a little bit off guard. There's the liftoff. The Graviton beam is a little too good.
And
Oh my
Jim will
god.
be able to win this up,
Jim's
and I think
gonna crush this.
BratOK is done for right now.
Yeah, he might not GG out, but he's not in a good
No,
spot.
no,
It's
no.
3 base Protoss that lost almost none of his army versus a Terran player who pulled SCVs off 2 bases. This is not a good position at all.
The most important thing for Jim right now is that he retained his Colossus count to 2 and also retained his Phoenix count, so he can still go for this same composition, which is so strong, and not fear against any Vikings coming out from BratOK. And BratOK behind is still rallying units on the halfway on the map, so I don't know.
He lands the factory, but it was a little bit all for naught, I fear.
Yeah. Jim now adding 3 additional gateways, the forges researching beautifully, even adding a fleet beacon here, so gonna go possibly for Tempest if nothing else maybe.
I think it's more for any Impulse Crystals if I had to guess, but
Oh,
Tempest would be
yeah.
a fun addition to have for sure. Could even go for carriers. If Jim is a true showman, he will go for carriers. So Jim is like, look, I'm far enough ahead, I'm going to put on a show, I'll go for carriers, maybe the case, but with so many Phoenixes on the field, it would just make more sense to invest otherwise. Meanwhile, the ground army being annihilated by the Colossus fire, the twin lasers destroying everything.
And
Good game
GG.
is called. And Invictus Gaming will, well, they'll bring the series back up to another tie.
Yeah, 2-2, and BratOK again got lifted off. Those Marauders, so crucial, but it just wasn't enough. And Jim playing a beautiful game.
Alright guys, well, don't go anywhere. Once again, we're just going to toss up some quick ads as we get the next lobby sorted out. You'll see more Jim in a few moments' time, so don't go anywhere.